Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Marta, and I'm a host of the session today. Yes, Disruption Forum told us that can see us, so we are on. First of all, I would like to welcome all viewers who decided to join us today and find out more about Tech to the Rescue and also how to scale up the positive impact of NGOs. First, few housekeeping information. So the session is recorded. So if something will disrupt you and you are not able to finish, or you want to share the session later with your friend, it will be available on our social media as well. It will be sent by NetGuru and Disruption Forum in the next few days. Secondly, on the right side, you have a chat window. So if you would like to say hello to us, share your thoughts, or ask any question, please feel free to do so. We will try to address those questions at the end of the session. However, if the time will be up and there is a lot of great sessions going on in the forum today, we will try to address everything on our social media in the next few days as well. So without further ado, please welcome our guests, Jacek Siatkowski, Program Director at Tech to the Rescue.
Hi.
Agata Stafiej-Bartosik, Country Director at Ashoka Poland. Tomasz Karwatka, CEO at Divante. And our guest who will share a great case study with us today, Katarzyna Antczak and Alicja Sekret from People and Medicine Foundation, as well Natalia Pięta from Skyrise Tech. So, hi. So let me maybe start with Jacek. If you could just shortly introduce to our viewers Tech to the Rescue.
Sure. So Tech to the Rescue is an initiative of Polish tech community, which goal is to help NGOs scale up their impact online. Simply speaking, we are a matchmaking platform, and our goal is to connect great tech companies willing to make some services for NGOs with a great NGOs that has a nice potential to create impact online. So NGOs approach us, they tell us about their specific needs they have, and our task is to translate those needs into the language of tech companies and find a great partner in terms of partner that have a right skill, right technologies, and right capacity to deliver a reliable and responsible service for the NGO. Usually, companies in our network cooperate with NGOs on a pure volunteering basis or low bono basis. So sometimes they work for a price that is at the price of cost, or even below the price of the real cost of the service. And what's special about Tech to the Rescue, I think it's the scale, because thanks to Tomek and his fabulous team at Divante, we managed to gather over 180 companies that are willing to do something with NGOs, and we are sure it creates a great potential to create many products that will create significant change to the reality.
Tomek, as you were called over here up, could you please go back to March and tell more about your motivations to start this movement?
Yeah, so I think the motivation starts with the great people in my company. So I'm running Divante, which is an IT company, and during the COVID, a lot of people feel that we are in a really good position as an IT. We were not so struggling, and we wanted to help. That was the original, very deep motivation. But we are in IT business, not in a helping business. So for us, it was at the beginning, it was hard to figure out whom should we help, what should we do, what kind of software should to be built, and it was, I think, a lot of IT people felt that, and that really struck me. And so the original was like, I just started an Google Doc spreadsheet file, because my idea was maybe there are other IT companies that are willing to help, but they don't know what should be built. So maybe let's list all those companies, and then some people from NGO sector will just approach us with their own ideas, because they're in this help other business for a long time. So they probably know better what we should do. And we published this spreadsheet, and it was like really awesome, because a day later I log in and I saw like 50 people online on this spreadsheet, and I saw some first IT companies being approached by NGOs and starting cooperation, and it was like super motivating for us and also for other people from IT sector that we could actually help. And so that was one thing. And then we really we believe it would be great to professionalize this a little bit. So we built a site around it, and then even more great people approach us, and at some point Jacek approached us together with Agata, offering, hey, maybe we will help you to build this and make it even bigger. And that was the origin of the organization we are building right now.
Yeah, so everything starts with people, and Agata, Ashoka Poland supported TechToTheRescue from the very beginning, and you've been working with change makers for many years now. How the situation looks from your perspectives, the NGOs needs looks from your perspective.
Yeah, so you know this, there is this African saying which says that it takes a village to raise a child, right? So, which means that parents alone influence on a kid, right? You also need grandparents, and you need elder colleagues who will show you bad things, and you need lots of different things to really develop properly. And some time ago at Ashoka, we actually thought that this goes also for the civic sector, because it like the whole village to raise a child, but it also takes a whole ecosystem to support a social entrepreneur or a social innovator, right? So if I want to do something good in the world, well, there is only a limited number of things I can do by myself, right? But if I really want to be impactful, I need allies. And I need, the level of my impact actually kind of depends on my allies, right? Also on my ability to involve those allies, to work with them, to dialogue, etc. So TechToTheRescue is actually this concept, like in every good story, at a certain point, the hero is tired, like he or she knows where they want to get, and then suddenly Gandalf appears and tells them where to go, right? And it's kind of this mechanism, right? So we've many social entrepreneurs, many social innovators, they did as much as they could, and suddenly, without technology, they will not be able to achieve greater impact, right? So I think TechToTheRescue is kind of a Gandalf of the social sector. It's just coming there and giving additional powers to social entrepreneurs. And this is why I think this is super, super exciting, because for many people who want to do something good, something impactful, technology is like, it really is like magic, right? So how do you do that? It's like people come and they get connected, and there are those thousands of likes, clicks, whatever. But social entrepreneurs do not have to know how to do this, right? They have other areas of expertise. And I think that thanks to TechToTheRescue, they will be able to actually have access to this superpower. So whatever they did on the level that the non-digital world allowed them, they can now amplify thanks to cooperation with partners who actually know how to master this superpower. So I think this is really, I think that's the key of this initiative. If we think of impact, there impact you can achieve yourself, and this actually is a level you can achieve with those new allies.
Yeah, so a lot of good energy at the very beginning, from the very, very beginning. And who decided to give the superpower and use the superpower? What was, Jacek, the response to TechToTheRescue when actually the site was built?
Yeah, so since March, we got like 180 different Gandalfs. So 180 different tech companies that volunteered to cooperate with NGOs. We have over 70 different NGOs that asked for help in our website, and we know about over 20 different projects that was delivered since March. Of course, we have some data regarding both companies and NGOs, so we can say that 75% of Gandalfs want to donate some time of the employees, and this time varies from 10 hours per week to over 100 hours per week, so it's pretty a lot of time. And they mostly offer services in terms of app development, digital consulting, and cloud services. But the data gets more interesting in terms of NGOs, because despite the fact that the TechToTheRescue initiative gained biggest momentum during this biggest social mobilization against COVID, only 1/3 of initiatives we got in our network reported needs that are related to the COVID. And the rest of them are the permanent needs of NGOs, which are lasting, and they will last even after the pandemic. The most popular needs of NGOs are helping with websites, building some app, improving their marketing and fundraising efforts. But over 30% of NGOs have some difficulties with specifying what actually they need, which tells us that some amount of organizations needs like more general digital consultancy or some kind of advice from tech companies. What actually can they achieve by using online channels?
Yes. So you mentioned that actually around 20 projects were created, that NGOs and companies teamed up to develop them. And today we have with us one of this team. Katarzyna and Alicia are from People and Medicine Foundation, and Natalia is UX consultant and at Skyrise Tech, the software house. So you two actually team up to launch Patients for Patients app. And could you please introduce the foundation, also the idea behind the project, and why did you decide to reach for TechToTheRescue help?
Sure, yes, hi. It's a pleasure to be here, so thank you, first of all. And something about the foundation. Our foundation is one that wants to make it easier for to cooperate between patients and medical staff. We actually want to develop solutions that are not only designed for patients, like most patient organizations or foundations, but we want to build bridges between patients and medical staff. The foundation was set up by Ania Harko, and I joined it in January this year. And actually, once I joined it, I told Ania about this idea that I've been thinking about, I've been sitting on for the past few years. And it was an idea of a network of support of patients, but working on a slightly different basis than what's happening in the market right now. So I was thinking about how wonderful it would be if every patient had like an angel or a mentor, as we call it. And if every patient had somebody who supports them along the way with the disease, so starting with the diagnosis. And then with the difficult decisions, help them with the difficult decisions at the very beginning, so right after the diagnosis, and then decisions connected with treatment, and so on and so forth. But since I'm also a patient, and I've been a patient for 6 years now, I realized that at every stage of a disease, any kind of a disease, chronic disease, whether it's cancer or epilepsy or some other kind of condition, patients struggle with different issues. So I thought it would be really great to, if patients had a partner that would accompany them in the healing process. So that's actually the idea behind our application, Patients for Patients. We want patients at different stages of their of struggling with their diseases to find healing partners. Yeah, and that's how it's going to work.
About how we found Tech to the Rescue. Actually, Robert, who's UX designer at our foundation, was doing a research about companies that can become partners with us. He just found the link, sent it to me, and that time it wasn't the time for the development, so I just saved it for later. Then we started reaching to tech companies, asking for development and asking for how can we do it, and simply how much will it cost us. And after getting those data, there was a little bit overwhelming feeling of it's simply too much for an NGO. So I get back to the links. I went to the TechToTheRescue site, and I was like, come on, let's do it. I feel it's going to be a good choice. I sent it to Luisa. Luisa is our UX designer as well. And she prepared a database for us. And we just started calling, and it was call after call and after call. And the amazing thing was that with each call, there was this warm feeling of understanding, because the issue which we are touching, maybe it does not concern you on a daily basis, you as a person, but it can concern your mom, your daughter, it can concern your grandparents, it can concern your colleagues from work. So there was a simple understanding and a simple caring. And from each and every call, there were more contacts which we could simply use as a help for us. And then I was calling, and the person who answered the phone was Natalia from Skyrise. And she said that, okay, I can see, I can feel this. I'm gonna do as much as I can for you. And it started like this.
Yeah, I have to agree with Kasia. So it was just, it took her like a minute to make it click. I could easily feel and see like the universalism of this problem they are addressing, especially in Poland, where we have very poor preventive medicine and also psychological support that should connect to the medical treatment. So yeah, actually she called us. We already had some anti-COVID initiative run inside of the company, so we were encouraging our employees to come up with ideas, and we ran kind of an internal startup contest. And we were also communicating in our social media that we are searching also for the project from outside that makes sense and could make an impact. And yeah, TechToTheRescue was also found by one of our employees who just said, okay, I just came across this one. Maybe we can leave our contact details there, share some information on what we can do. So you just made this great place where we could simply meet.
Great to hear that. But could you share more, Natalia, about the main challenges and also like critical success factors from your side? As I assume this is not the regular cooperation between client and the tech company. So could you share more insight about that?
Sure, indeed. So normally we are, a commercial software development and software consultancy company. We work a lot with the customers from outside of Poland, in Scandinavia, US, many countries from Western Europe. And, this is another topic because we usually have long-time cooperation. We develop what they want, and we have smaller or bigger impact on the project, but I would say quite rarely we feel as co-fathers of something very impactful. And when Kasia called me, I was like, it really makes sense, and they are very prepared. They touch the core of the problem. And first of all, I had to make it happen. So the management was open for such projects, but still I and the NGO needed to convince my boss that this is the one that actually makes sense and is worth spending time on. And patients and medicine, or people and medicine organization.
People and medicine.
Yes, sorry. They were extremely well prepared. They could pitch. They showed their engagement because they had, the budget was not big, but we already saw that they were determined enough to find this budget and to it takes time. You have to be persistent to do such things. And also we could see that they were already listening to people that know a lot about tech. Also, of course, some of the team members are working in the tech industry, so they were also well prepared. They knew how things work. They knew that there are some sacrifices to be made. All of this helped a lot in convincing the management to say, okay, we'll do this far below budget, not the way we usually do it, but we can see that they are going to be easy to cooperate with. Also the NGO just said, okay, when we said, let's sit down and strip the application to its very core. Let's get rid of everything that is unnecessary, that maybe has great UX impact, but is just too much for now. And they agreed. They agreed to use open source components. They did everything to push it through the organization that was giving the funds. So lots of things clicked. And the biggest challenge, because you were also asking about the challenges, I believe, was actually the contract, how it should be shaped, how it should cover both the interests of us as the organization who helps them develop the application, but also theirs and also their funders. So this was actually, I would say, the cooperating on development of the application was not such a challenge. The real challenge was making sure that all the papers behind it are good, clear, correct, and won't stop people and medicine from pushing forward with the application after we finish. So yeah, this is more or less this.
Yes, and Kasia, as we spoken before, you actually told me that Skyrise Tech took a lead, but there was also a lot of other contributors to the project. and also that helped with the lawyer side of the project. How did you manage the process on your side? What best practices would you like to share?
Okay, so first of all, I want to thank all the contributors. Yeah, our main contributor is Skyrise, but there's Divante, thank you. There's Intiv, there's Invedo, there's Binar Apps, there's Explain Visually, there's Listonic, and all those companies, they've simply supported us. And you know, our app, it's all about peer support. And you asked how we managed to do it. We've managed to do it thanks to peer support we've got, thanks to trust, thanks to asking all questions, and don't be afraid of asking all those questions, and owning the topics. The people who are in our team and who are in the Skyrise team are simply amazing. Every one of them are specialists in their field of expertise. Also, at our team, we've got this philosophy of being clear and simply trusting each other. And you know, I'm really lucky because at our team there's Alicia. She's an expert with all those educational stuff and all those mentor and coaching. And there's Anya Harko. She's the founder of the foundation, and she's a health psychologist. There is Robert, who is a UX designer, and Luisa. She's also a UX designer. And they were my peer support in my team. There is the team of Skyrise Tech, which they simply have amazing approach, because they did not even once came to me and tell me we cannot make it. They came to me always with a solution, not with a problem. There was always a solution. And also I had my peer support at home. So like all those places were simply taken care of. And for me, main challenge was how to move from being a product designer to being a product owner. Those two jobs are a little bit different. You have to own your decisions. And again, I could do it thanks to the trust. And I could do it thanks to the trust of my team, who simply trusted me, thanks to the trust which I've got for Skyrise and which I had from them. The quick decisions.
May I say something, Kasia? Because
yeah, sure.
I believe there's something that is extremely important. There are 5 of us, like in the core team, and we've a lot of us just met in March. We hadn't known each other before. And an amazing thing about us is that we have developed a way to cooperate through constant communication and openness. So that means that of course there's trust. Of course, each of us is competent in their own area, but also we have this like development approach, agile approach, that we actually organize workshops as to how to organize our work, how to develop our cooperation models. And we have a trial and error method. So we check something, we see if it works, then we go on with it. If it doesn't work, then we change it. So it's I think it's one of the secrets. And also the way we work, we've divided our areas of expertise, so everybody's responsible for something completely different. And the trust that Kasia mentioned is very important, because each of us is a product owner in their own area. So we trust that the decisions that we take are going to be simply good decisions. And in fact, it turns out that we're right in trusting one another, that it simply works very, very effectively. And the thing that I want to say is that we all have full-time jobs, and we've managed to, with this approach, we've managed, and the support of many companies and people, we've managed to develop an MVP in a time that is just too short for anything, actually. We developed an MVP in like a month or a month and a half, of course, with the help of Skyrise. But what I'm trying to say is that regardless of how busy we are, because we have amazing communication, because we have fantastic people in the team, and because there's chemistry between people in medicine and Skyrise, for example, and this chemistry is extremely important, we can cooperate in such an effective way. So the people in medicine is extremely important. Without the people, there would be nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And as Alicia said, we could not be afraid of making mistakes. Own them, learn them, grow. And again, trust, ask, own your topics, make mistakes, build your peer support. That's as simple as that, and that's as hard as that.
I would just like to add just one sentence, that I think this maybe why it started so abruptly and it continued to work is just because I feel there is a huge, I would say, philosophical match or culture match between the NGO and us. Like, we really felt we used the same ways of thinking, of approaching things, and probably this is also a huge thing behind the success, that we thought we should cooperate in the same manner.
Is the app possible to download now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, the app is we are still doing our research and our tests, and now we've got some iterations to do due to the users' feedback we have.
But we have a Facebook group that's supposed to be the prototype of the application, and we would like everybody who might need this kind of help. We would like everybody to join this group, and because we knew how long it would take to develop the application and then to launch it in the shape that we want it to be, we need to think about a lot of aspects, like the safety of patients. We don't want to launch the application that is just, just halfway through, because we need to, we are offering options such as anonymity, and we need to think about the especially sensitive data of patients. So before all of this is done, regardless of the fantastic cooperation with Skyrise, it will take a while. We wanted to act. So we created a prototype, which is, as I mentioned, a group on Facebook. And it works very similarly to what we want the app to do. I'm saying similarly because Facebook doesn't give us the same options, technical options, as we want to have in the application, but the basic rule is the same. So patients sign up for the group, and we already have mentors in the group who specialize in certain conditions. And when you're a patient and you need support, you can sign up for the group and find your mentor and simply start one-to-one work or one-to-one conversation, whatever you need. So you can't download the application yet, but you can get our support. And that is the most important thing, I think.
Great, and I think you really touched a lot of practical issues and great insights from both sides about the cooperation, and I think both sides should consider the things like trust and being able to get a little bit lower on the expectations and collaborate with each other, and also know what is to be done, what is the real job and to be done. So Tech to the Rescue is about 6 months around, and Jacek, after this time of a little bit spontaneous collaborations that were going on, you actually decided to dedicate fully to Tech to the Rescue and became a program director. Could you please share key takeaways from the first months that led to the transformation from the movement to the organization that we observe right now?
Yeah, sure. So the first most important thing is that what we saw from our data was that most NGOs have needs that are like not related to the COVID, that the needs are permanent, that the community of NGOs have difficulties with digital skills, with assets to buy digital skills on the market. So we felt sure to the idea of extending life of Tech to the Rescue for the long-term perspective. So we wanted to make something which would be more long-lasting, that would deliver impact in 2, 3, or 5 years as well. Just after the decision, we decided to conduct some research on the participants of Tech to the Rescue, both on the companies and both on the NGOs, to understand their needs and expectations better. And we have a few interesting conclusions from that research. So first, we understood that the companies in the network have only a few expectations, but very important ones. So first one is that NGOs that would approach them should be well prepared for cooperation. And in this preparation, we mean that NGO should have a very specific idea of what they want to achieve, of how it should be achieved. Also a team dedicated to work and very easy to ask about decisions, and also not like changing their minds too many times during the project. And second thing, what companies want to do is to create something we call minimum viable product. So not very complicated products that sometimes are born in the minds of change makers, very ambitious people, but very essential in terms of functionalities products that would bring first value to users, and then they would be developed on the basis of feedback from the users. But from our research from NGOs, it came that it would be difficult to meet on the side of NGOs, because most of the community, as I said before, lack digital strategy. Very few NGOs have experienced product people on the board. And for example, they don't have many experience in working in agile methodologies. So what we need to do, and this is probably the biggest conclusion, is that simple spreadsheet connecting companies with NGOs is not enough to ensure that these cooperations in the network would be successful and satisfying for both sides. And we understood that we need to change Tech to the Rescue into something more than just database, and we need to choose NGOs pretty closely with big awareness on their skills and preparation, and also prepare companies in terms of their expectations and what they can do together, or what they can expect on the side of NGOs.
Yes, and Agata, Ashoka decided to support this transition in terms of impact, partner, and also some organizational support as well. From your experience, like what aspects are crucial to make this venture successful?
I think what is really important is that, like in every partnership, partners just need to try to understand each other and respect the differences. And there are lots of differences between tech companies and NGOs. And one of the main things is that, we say tech companies and we say NGOs. But actually, the truth is every NGO is different and every tech company is different, right? Katarzyna Anczek just very lucky because she had all those people around her. Yeah, she's very lucky. There are not many teams like this around NGOs. So if you expect to meet people that are so prepared to cooperate with a tech company, you might be surprised, because most of NGOs are not that prepared. They are not that cooperation ready, right? So I think an important thing is for both groups of actors in this solution to be ready to learn each other on the go, right? And I think that this is super, super important, that we don't expect that it's going to be easy. It is not going to be easy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be effective. We're going to change many beautiful things in the world, but it's not going to be easy. And I think that's very important to be like really open about that both parts are going on a journey, and like on every journey, you have adventures, right? So some of those adventures are cool. Some of them are, things that allow you to learn something. And I think that this is very, very important. I think it's also important to, and I think that an additional value of this program is exactly there. Because at the end of the day, I think what Tomek said, and also Kasia and Alicia, you all said, and Natalia, you all said people are very important. People are the core of every success, right? We are all citizens. We all want to do something good. Some of us happen to work in a tech company. Some of us happen to teach at a university. Some of us are in a non-governmental organization. But what connects us is that we really want to do something for common good. We want to do something good. And I think that the beauty of this thing is that people get out of their silos, like they get a kind of a new identity, right? If you ask someone, who are you? Oh, they might say, I'm a developer in Vivante, right? And someone else, and someone might say, well, I lead an NGO, right? But then because they get together and do this stuff together and they become a team, their new identity is, I'm someone who wants to do something useful, and I do it with others. And I think that this is this additional layer of this whole exercise, which is like super, super exciting. I also think that, so you asked me what both sides need to succeed. My main thought would be that they need flexibility and respect and patience, which is a boring answer because you need it in every venture. So I also think that a very important thing is to, and it's also, again, kind of boring because it's important always, we always say that disappointment is a function of expectation, right? What you expect for defines if you're going to be happy or disappointed. And I think what is really important is to really define well what we want to achieve at the level of product, impact that the product is going to generate, etc. Because as you might know, organizations work on different levels, right? Some organizations would offer direct support, right? There are homeless people on the streets. We need to give them something to eat. That would be a direct support organization. There are other organizations who work on a level of a scaled direct support, right? So for example, it's not like I have my one kitchen where I give soup to people, but I have created a network of kitchens, right? And the people are fed now. But there is also this third level, which is the systemic level, right? I might say, okay, what I want to do is I want people not to become homeless, right? I don't want to help the homeless people. I mean, I do want to help, but my goal is not to help the people who are already on the street, but my goal is to, you know, that people don't go on the street, that people don't live on the street. And that's a different level. And I think it's super important to understand that some of the tech solutions might be at the level of this direct service, right? So I need to, for example, connect someone with someone, and you know, and thanks to this, someone is going to get a soup. And some of the solutions might be at the very, very systemic level, where people start understanding things differently, where people start, you know, they change kind of the way they understand some things, and this is why they don't do certain things that lead to a given social problem. So I think that is also very important, that we are clear what we want to achieve with a given solution. And probably not many NGOs will be able to say, hey, I want an app, or I want this solution or that solution. They will probably be able to talk at the level of the impact they want to generate. So they might say, you know, I need your help. We want to create something that will allow us for patients to become buddies to patients, right? And I think that this is also one of the important things that, this is, I think, something that tech community knows to do, that you really listen to this NGO partner and you kind of get into their shoes to understand what they want to achieve, because actually the tech partner will know what is available to get there. The NGO might not know that, right? The NGO might know where they want to get. And I think that's something that is also very, very exciting and important. So probably this program will have a lot of talking and listening and, you know, the
mentoring
stuff.
Mentoring.
like in our application.
Yeah. Great, a lot of great insights and hints as well. Jacek, like, how do you think that TechToTheRescue will it address this systemic change or a systemic need in the future? What's next? What's the next step for the organization?
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to talk about a very distant future. Yeah, so especially because we are in a phase of building the foundation of TechToTheRescue. So the near future of the initiative would be for sure focused on building a great processes of matching two sides in a way that would be successful. I mean, it would lead to successful collaborations and successful products. And to do that, we for sure need to come out from the simple spreadsheet. We need to employ a team that would take care of those conversations with both sides, preparing both sides to cooperation, that would facilitate the first rounds of conversations between NGOs and tech companies to ensure that they are good partners for each other. We are very lucky because we managed to get a fantastic team of founding partners that decided to pledge some amount of money to fund the first year of operation. These are international companies that were born in Poland, companies like NetGuru, 10 Square Games, Reality Games, 10 Clouds, Divanta, Droids on Roids, Beyond, or Sebastian Kulczyk. And because of that, we have a runway of 1 year to make a real case study that would bring to changing the lives of 500,000 people. This is our goal for the first year. So we are focusing on creating as many successful projects as possible. And the challenge we face actually is about finding the sweet spot between scalability of our initiative and the quality. Because if we focus too much on the scale, it might lead to unsuccessful cooperations, to failures that would make people disappointed and not willing to make another project in our network. But if we focus on the quality too much, we might build only a few of examples and not use potential of our network as well as we could. So we would be looking for this sweet spot for the great processes of connecting those two sides. We are lucky also because we have Ashoka, a great partner in finding great measures of impact identification and measurement processes. And also Ashoka will help us reach the greatest NGOs in the world and bring them to the network with the biggest impact potential. For sure, the big goal that would ensure the longevity of this initiative would be to build a very lively community of companies interested in bringing impact and bringing the skills to create an impact. So we will for sure test different ideas and methods of building this community. And what's very important is that absolutely we have a global perspective. So even if we start in Poland, we want to cooperate with the biggest NGOs from around the world. We actively seek for them. So regardless if you are an NGO with big impact potential or a company that has some willingness to join us, please visit our website and fill our form.
Yeah, so it seems like a very year ahead with a lot of adventures, and I really hope we will manage to find a sweet spot you mentioned. And the goal to help 500,000 people, it's well-defined and ambitious as well. Tomek, hearing all this, you're initiator, you're a godfather of the project. Do you think that technology will change the world or save the world?
Yeah, I think so. But what I really like here, what I heard before. So when you think about helping, it's a lot about it's about talking about giving a rod or a fish. And I think it's not about giving a rod or a fish. It's about going to a fishing journey together. And I think that's the really exciting part, that we, the IT folks, are going there into the wildness with other folks which are different, and all together we can do a much better than our things alone. And I think this excitement can change the world, because tech is not changing the world. People are changing the world. And that's why I'm very optimistic. And you see so many smiles here, and people are excited, and we're just starting. So, there will be more exciting things to talk in the future. Yeah, visit our site, fill our form, as Jacek said.
You know what it seems to me? It seems that TechToTheRescue is like Patients for Patients, except in a different area.
Yeah, exactly. It's about using the network, using the network, right?
Yeah.
It's about the network support and building bridges between two worlds and closing the gaps. And
so now it's my turn to say, go to our website, Ludzie Medycyna.
So let's all together go to our website and just follow our social media profiles. I could see a great conversation on the right. I know that some meetings are actually set and questions are answered. So we are a little bit over time at the moment. So I want to thank everyone for watching us, and thank all my guests for actually joining and having this wonderful conversation with a lot of insights. And thank you very much. And please enjoy your afternoon and great sessions that are in Disruption for Sustainability today, because there is a lot of going on. So thank you very much, and see you in reality, offline, online. Never mind. Just, let's keep working to change the world.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.